Hey guys, welcome to the FitTown show. This is Coach Andrew with Coach Tony. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to be more confident and strengthen your mindset. And if you guys listened to our last show about the future of FitTown, then you'll have an idea of what today's episode is going to be about. But we're going to start doing some mindset work into our workouts, into our classes, and to kind of separate it into focuses in any given month where we're focusing on kind of one aspect of the mindset. And this is something that we developed because of the success of our kids program and seeing how effective it is for us as coaches to work on with you guys as athletes, developing the mental side with the physical side, and how that's really what translates to being able to use your fitness, being able to live a happier and healthier life, is to develop the mindset and develop the character to go along with your fitness.
Yeah, we think of whole health as not just the body, but also kind of like your mind and your spirit, your emotional health. Like there's all these things that make up health to us. That's just kind of our personal belief, our personal view on fitness. And we do really well on the physical side. So we want to bring some real intentionality and like some programming, if you will, to the mindset side and mental side.
Exactly. And from working with members over the last 8 years, we've realized that a lot of this stuff is already happening. People are already telling us they're more confident. They're already telling us that they're able to persist when times get tough or when they fail. They no longer see failure as failure, but a chance to learn. And we hear these things that are sort of happening almost by accident through what we do in the gym. And obviously we've talked a little bit about stuff on podcasts and through Tony writes a lot of really good blogs and things like that we're talking about these things. So it's not that we avoid it, but we've never really intentionally built it into the classes in a way that people have something specific to work on. And one of the things that kind of came to me is that in the gym, movement is very much the language of the physical component, right? We talk about movement, knees out in a squat, chest up in a push press, all these little things. This is kind of the language of the fitness component. But when it comes to the mental side, what is the language of that? And I think it's very much self-talk as kind of the gateway, the language for the mental component. And like I said, we've never really intentionally built that into our program in a way that people can say, yes, this is something I can tangibly focus on from a self-talk perspective, from a place to put my focus in this given workout where I can develop this mental side.
And I think it's a very fundamental aspect of what we do here. That's why it's built into our kids programming, and that's why it starts our kids class. So we, Melissa and I, we teach different classes, different age groups, but we start the class with what we call a power chat, and we kind of set the tone for the class of what we want the kids to think about in that workout for the day, and then we revisit it at the end as well. And so we think of this mindset side as really a fundamental principle of having some longevity in the gym, right? Like I've seen some people in our gym that will come in and just do great for like a couple years, and they're just like have this tremendous transformation physically, but they never really transform mentally and end up either burning out or having a physical injury due to the mental approach. Yeah. And you just wonder, where did they go? And it's like, we want people to build that mental foundation, that mindset foundation, so that they can just excel on the physical side.
Yeah, and we've had so many good coaches growing up through team sports, and there's often coaches, like there's coaches that we didn't have, like a John Wooden, who, his measure of success with his athletes is not whether or not they win a championship, but like, who does this person turn out to be 10 or 20 years from now? And the further we get into it, that is more of our measure of success, is like, what type of people are we creating? We know we have the fitness side down pretty good. We'll continue to try to make that better. But how can we also help people become better people? So if they move away, or if just life changes and they don't want to be a part of FitTown, they feel like the years that they spent with us were some of the most integral years of their life, and they come away being a better person because of it.
Yeah, I love that.
You brought up the CrossFit Pyramid that we kind of built our fitness foundation on, which, just to kind of run through that quickly, CrossFit built a pyramid in terms of the development of an athlete, and they put nutrition at the bottom, and then it goes up to like conditioning and gymnastics and strength training. And you talked about in our last episode how really, in order to like really picture this pyramid in the right way, you actually have to put mindset at the bottom of that. Because if you think about like nutrition and getting your workouts in, none of that stuff ever happens without the right mindset underneath it. You know, we hear it all the time, like, I know how to eat. I know how to eat healthy. I'm just not doing it. And what keeps people from doing it is often that mindset component.
Yeah, and I'd say a lot of people take it for granted. They don't realize that they even have that component. You know, that component to just show up, to that component to decide to take on a new way of eating. That takes a right mindset, right? Not everybody is doing that. Not everybody is stepping foot into this gym. So just to even step foot in this gym in the first place, that's the foundational mindset to say, look, I'm going to try something new in order to grow.
Yeah. And the last thing that I want to kind of add before we get into, we're going to go through our first word, what our first focus is going to be this first month that we do it. But I want to talk about this idea of kind of like what people identify with as their identity. And I think Tony Robbins has said it before, like the strongest force in the human psyche is to stay consistent with who you feel your identity is. And I see that all the time where it's like, I want to eat healthier. I want to stop drinking as much. I want to finally make working out a part of my weekly regimen. But that person deep down identifies as someone who's not a fit person. They're not someone who eats healthy. Or maybe they surround themselves with others who don't think like that. So they're constantly there's this force that's always drawing them back to who they think they should be as opposed to who they really want to be. So I see this as a way to start to direct our focus in a way where we can intentionally create the person we want to become, as opposed to just kind of always wanting to do things a little bit better, but getting pulled back to this person that we've been, even though we don't really want to be that.
And I think that's a great kind of segue into what that first word is.
Exactly. So basically kind of give you the format first of how we're thinking this might play out is we want to keep it simple. It's not going to be as, I would say, in your face as it is in the kids program. It's very much, as Tony said, we start the day with the power talk. It's very much built into the class. For us, we want it to be more subtle, but still tactical and specific. So the same way that we might build a focus for a day where we're saying, hey, today's focus is going to be a squat focus day. We really want you guys to think about driving your knees out, sitting back. So you're using your glutes, using your hamstrings, using that full lower body. The same thing's going to be kind of true on this more character and mindset side of, okay, today's word is this. What does that mean in a workout? What are some things from a self-talk perspective that you can keep bringing your mind back to as you start to have those negative thoughts creep in? And just keep it very simple, that you can apply it that day in the gym and then hopefully take it home and apply it some way outside the gym. So every month we're going to have one word that's the focus, and we'll have 1 to 2 workouts each week that really embody that word or allow you as athletes to be challenged in a way that will force you to embody that word. So it's not necessarily going to be a daily thing where this is going to be in your face. We're going to we might infuse it into different days throughout the week, but we'll usually have 1 to 2 days each week for that month where we really talk about an element of this word and how to apply it from a self-talk perspective into there.
Yeah, and when we do this really intentionally, it comes back to us very unintentionally. Like we did one with our team and we talked about the word and like we went through the workout and like I found myself thinking about it the next time I worked out and then the next time, and I was like, it stuck with me. So I that's like the hope here is like we bring some intention to having the right mindset, and then kind of unknowingly we think about these same positive things because we do it with the negative side. We might as well do it with the positive side.
Yeah. So first word that we're going to start with is confidence. So you had a definition of confidence you found. You want to go through that?
Yeah, so I pulled up a definition of confidence, and I like the simplicity of what we can kind of distill confidence down to be. So it defined confidence as a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. And I wanted to kind of pick that apart because I think there's a lot of control over confidence, right? It really is something that is fabricated or mutated by us. So like the first word in there was feeling, right? So it's something that you have created.
Yeah.
Right? It's not something that's a fact in your world. It's something that you create. All right. So confidence is something that you create through a feeling. It's something that you can promote or revoke at any time, right? Because you have control over that feeling. Also, it's like self-assurance, right? So I think of it as like a simple affirmation of what you can do. So often it's not, okay, you need to affirm what you can do more. It's just get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Right? It's like how many times do we find ways to take away our own confidence and saying, I don't know if I can do that. So really having like that simple self-assurance or self-affirmation in your own appreciation for what you can do, I think is really big. And it also says ones in there a couple times. So like I want everyone to realize when it gives a definition of confidence, it says it's ones, meaning it's your option to create confidence or not. It's not on anyone else. It's up to you, the owner of the confidence, in order to create it or not.
Yeah, the aspect of the definition that I really liked was there's a trust in yourself or a belief in yourself. And I really like that word trust because it's just kind of this grounding word in there in confidence. And I want to talk a little bit about what confidence isn't, because a lot of people get that confused. And a lot of people, when they think of confidence, they think of someone who wins a lot, who is always excelling. And they think, well, this person, in order for them to win, or because they win so much, they're probably a confident person. You see someone who's successful, whether that be at work, in the gym, as a parent, and you think, well, this person must be confident in what they do because of the outcomes that they're creating. And we often get confidence confused with cockiness, which is like, cockiness is this belief that I will win. I'm going to go into this presentation and I'm going to knock it out of the park. I'm going to go into this workout and I'm going to crush it, and that's not confidence at all. That's someone who's cocky. That's someone who's very focused on the outcome. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about confidence, really confidence is going into it that regardless of what that outcome is, you're going to give your best effort. And knowing that your best effort is enough in that situation. So I wanted to bring up like our FTX team series because we just went through this. And if you're a beach fitter listening, I'll give you a little more context. We had one of the weeks we had a much more weight focused workout. We had a 1 rep max for the clean in that workout. The next week we had a very cardio focused workout where we had this FitTown triathlon where we had a long run, a long row, and a long bike. And there's people that showed up differently to those two workouts because of where they knew they might stack up from a leaderboard perspective. So tends to be that when it was going to be something more in their wheelhouse where they knew they would rank higher on the leaderboard, they came in a little bit more confident. And when it was something that they were likely going to be lower on the leaderboard as compared to others, they were less confident. And the whole point of confidence is it shouldn't matter where you're going to stack up against others. It should matter in terms of how you're going to show up and how that effort is going to be from your end. As you said, it's the ownership. It's what you bring to the table. It's not what the outcome is going to be. So you can show up just as confident to a 1 rep max that you're going to blow as a FitTown triathlon that you're going to knock out of the park, or vice versa, even though the outcome may not be great in terms of, the objective viewpoint, when we look at the results at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think kind of like back to like confidence versus cockiness. Cockiness is assuming you know the result or you have any kind of control over the result, and you don't. So confidence is the belief in your effort that you're just going to put your best out there, because that's really all you can control, and that's all we want our athletes to expect of themselves. We don't want them to expect any type of result, because then that might break down their confidence. I know for me, sometimes even in stronger workouts where I'm like, yeah, I can run, I can row, I can bike, like I'm going to crush this workout. And I'm like, I'm supposed to crush this workout. And I almost have a kind of like a drawback in confidence because I've set expectations for myself because I know I'm strong at something.
Right. I should win this. I should be in the top 3.
Yeah. And it's almost like it almost chips away at my confidence rather than just being like, you know what? I like these movements. I love giving my best effort to these movements. I can't wait to just give everything I have to it. And that's like real confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I think like if we're going to bring this to an example in sports, Tom Brady just won his 7th Super Bowl. And as much as I want to hate on Tom Brady, you have to look at the good that he's done. But I think the most notable accomplishment that I've ever seen out of him is the year they came back by like 30 points to the Falcons in that Super Bowl. And if he was someone who was more of a cocky athlete versus a confident one, he would be someone who's, once he gets down, that you would see a huge blow to his confidence. But for him, he's just knowing, okay, I'm just going to give my best effort on the next play and give my best effort on the next play. Wherever the result happens, it happens. And you see that it doesn't matter where he is in a game, he always plays kind of the same way, and then tends to be, by the end of the 4 quarters, he ends up kind of where he wants to be. But he doesn't really you don't really see him changing his approach based on what's happening around him. He's kind of this steady force in everything.
Yeah, and confidence isn't a lack of, I don't know, it's like, it's having some humility, right? It's like not believing you're just going to win that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't think he goes into every Super Bowl knowing he's going to win or thinking he's going to win. He's just knowing he's going to give the best effort his team possibly can and rely on the preparation that they've done for the moment, but he's not expecting to win.
Yeah, he often talks about how good the other team is, how hard it's going to be to win, and he knows what a challenge it is, but that doesn't take away from his preparation and his mindset going in. So the other thing I want to bring up is that if you're always looking to kind of be good at stuff and you think confidence is related to be good at stuff, it's going to discourage you from trying new things. And I think that actually, by trying new things, it's one of the best ways to develop confidence. So as you get exposed to many different things, you gain competence in different things. It's one of the best ways to develop that type of confidence. So again, as we start to confuse confidence for winning or being good at things, it actually discourages from being bad at things, which is necessary to try new things, is you're going to most likely be bad at them in order to develop the skills to be good. So that's where we have to separate the effort from the end result. So we want to talk about like really tangible ways to build confidence. We've already touched on some of them. 1 would be trying new things often. 2 would be to separate effort from the end result. And what this will look like in a workout for you guys is, at any given moment of a workout, check in with yourself and say, is this my best effort right now? Okay, so I would not recommend doing this 1 minute into a 20-minute workout, because that might force you to go really fast in that first minute and then kind of blow up and then fall off a cliff. But like in a 20-minute workout, once you get 5 minutes in, you've kind of gotten through that initial stage of like, all right, I got a good pace going. I haven't blown up. I might be going too fast, too slow, but I'm pretty close to where I need to be. At that moment, at the 5-minute mark, check in with yourself. Is this my best effort right now? And then at the 8-minute mark, check in again. Is this my best effort right now? At the 12-minute mark, is this my best effort right now? And it sounds very like pie in the sky, kind of like cheesy, but like think about that. Like, is this really my best effort? Could I cut 2 seconds out from transitioning? Could I move this weight a little bit faster? If I'm on a rower, could I get that pace up 50 cals per hour, or get that time per 500 meters down by a few seconds? Is this really my best effort at this moment? And if you're honest with yourself, it's really hard to fulfill that. Really hard.
Definitely. And during the FitTown triathlon in the
exactly.
week 3, I was like, I think this is my best ever. Like, yeah, I'm trying my best, and I was suffering through it. But yeah, I think that's a great way to approach the workout. It also kind of keeps any negative thoughts out. If you kind of just stay on the positive. There's like little ways you could build confidence throughout a workout too. Be like, hey, like every time I come to this set of 10, I know I got 2 sets. I know I got this in 2 sets. And like kind of build that confidence, be like on the little things and that next step and the next 5 reps, the next 10 reps. Just kind of telling yourself, you got this, you can do this. You can do that next step.
Yeah, another big way to develop confidence is doing what you say you're going to do, or another way to think of that is like being who you say you're going to be. And I think there's so many times where we'll say, oh, I'm going to start a new diet. I'm going to get Committed Club this year or this month. And then we kind of let ourselves down. And I mean, it's something I still struggle with. I have high ambitions in many areas of my life. So that can often lead to not meeting expectations of myself in some of those areas. And if you've read the book, The Four Agreements, it talks about like making impeccable agreements with yourself. And I think the more that I think actually cutting down on the number of agreements you have, but making each one of those as solid as possible is a really good way to develop confidence. There's a book, Tiny Habits, that talks about, you know, making your habits so small that they're almost unnoticeable. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's counterintuitive. It sounds like, okay, well, how is this really going to move the needle? But I think it's a great way to start to build that confidence, is to set a tiny habit or make a small agreement with yourself and actually fulfill it and actually follow through. And I think that's the problem with trying to do some of these like big diets. Like, I'm going to go full keto, I'm going to cut out sugar for the next 30 days, is that yes, you might be successful, but you've made it very, very hard on yourself to be successful. And then once you break that agreement with yourself, you start to lose some of that confidence.
Yeah, and it's not like, you know, when I do this diet successfully, that's when I'll have confidence.
Exactly.
Right? It's confidence builds and goes backwards. I know it goes up and down, but you gain it over time gradually. Right? I think we're going to see that in a lot of the things that we go over when it comes to mindset. Nothing happens in the blink of an eye or a lightning strike. This is all stuff that you guys will find, hey, I'm a little bit better at this. Mm-hmm. I'm a little bit more confident in this. I've done more reps of this, so I feel better doing this.
Yeah.
You know, and that's big in here, is like you learn what it's like to get the reps in, and I mean that like very like realistically, but also metaphorically, like mm-hmm. getting reps in. We get better at split jerks because we've done more reps of them, right? But we also feel more comfortable having difficult conversations with a spouse because we've gotten the reps in.
Yeah.
Right. So reps comes into play a lot of times in life, but there's no way. It's a big way of building confidence by just saying, you know what, I'm going to face this. I'm going to get some reps in with it. And that builds confidence, like gradually.
Yeah. Which is kind of the last really tangible way to build confidence is to get reps in. And you kind of mentioned it from the self-talk perspective, but I'm actually thinking from more of the physical perspective. So like, if you want to be more confident with double unders, you're going to have to practice double unders. It doesn't matter how good of a mindset you come in with every single day. You could have this really good mindset of, I don't care about the outcome, I'm just going to focus on my effort. But if you're only working on them once a month, there's a low likelihood you're ever going to get your double unders. So confidence comes through competence of practice, putting in those hours. So if there's something that you really want to get better at, you want to be more confident in, you have to do it. I mean, when it comes to like, I used to feel like I was a terrible public speaker, and I've become more confident because of having to do classes of 20 to 30 people consistently, doing podcasts, doing videos. And now I'm much more confident with it because of putting the reps in. And I could have spent a lot of that time working on my mindset, but realistically, the biggest changes have come just from doing, not from trying to think about it.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
And then the last thing I want to leave people with is treating this like a fitness. All these things, whether it's confidence, whether it's the next word, is treat it like a fitness versus a pass-fail, right? So it's something that there's going to be words that you're like, wow, I'm actually pretty good at this thing. There's going to be things that come up, you're like, wow, I'm actually not really good at this thing. And that's okay. And the same way that you can have, you shouldn't PR your squat or your deadlift or your FitTown triathlon every day you walk in here. There's going to be days that it goes better. There's going to be days that it goes worse. You have to be okay with sort of letting yourself evolve into these things and have some bad days. You know, you're trying to work on your self-talk. And the negative thoughts just keep pummeling in. You can't stop thinking about the thing that happened at work or the thing that happened with your spouse. And that's okay. You got to let those days come and go, but you can't write off the process altogether because it wasn't a good day. You have to keep working on it as a fitness. And when we say fitness, look at how you've developed your fitness over time. You have good days and bad ones. There's some ups and downs in there, but you're constantly you're just showing up. You're constantly just showing up, putting in the effort, and knowing over time it's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, and these things are going to show up when you don't even notice them, when you least expect them. You know, it's like, wow, I had confidence in that. You know, like, wow, I had gratitude for that. Like, that's just what you're going to naturally kind of, get accustomed to by just practicing this stuff. But you might realize you have more of it than you even know, and progress with it.
Yeah. So each month we'll have a new word to kind of focus on. This first month is confidence. You mentioned another one, in gratitude. We'll have things like grit, courage, things that we're working on each month. So if there's some aspect of your mental side that you want to continue to develop, feel free to suggest any words to us. But we're excited for this. Hope you guys are excited for this. And it's just going to be some nice small things that we can start incorporating into classes to make you better athletes and better people. So thanks for joining, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.